Welcome back to The Explainer. We are diving straight into a massive, highly complex geopolitical puzzle today, Pakistan's 2026 multi-front crisis. For anyone prepping for serious strategic or current affairs exams, this is basically a masterclass in how domestic instability forces a state into some incredibly desperate, high-risk external maneuvers. We're looking at a nation stretched absolutely to its breaking point, where internal security collapse is literally dictating its foreign policy and economic survival. Let's map out exactly how these pressures are converging.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the internal security collapse, move right into the bilateral friction over the Indus Waters Treaty, and then analyze their external survival strategies, specifically mediating between the US and Iran and deploying military forces to Saudi Arabia. Finally, we'll wrap it all into a high-retention exam framework. Let's hit the ground running.
First up, Section 1, the converging internal security crisis. To understand Pakistan in 2026, you absolutely have to grasp this domino effect following the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan.
It's all deeply interconnected. You've got the TTP researching, right? Basically, they found a safe haven next door in Afghanistan after negotiations with Islamabad completely fell apart. Then, look at Balochistan. The BLA is running a highly coordinated insurgency, and they are going hard after CPEC infrastructure. That is a huge deal. Hitting CPEC doesn't just cause local chaos, it actively messes with Pakistan's most critical lifeline, China. Wrap all this in severe economic fragility, skyrocketing inflation, and empty state coffers, and, well, militant recruitment just explodes.
So if you take away one strategic term today, make it this: multi-front security pressure. This is the definition of severe strategic overextension. Think of it like trying to plug leaks in a dam with just 10 fingers. Pakistan's military and governance capacities aren't proactively shaping the security environment anymore. They're purely reactive to non-stop threats from every direction. And with the constant shifting of priorities and deep civil-military imbalances, long-term policy coherence is pretty much out the window.
Moving to Section 2, the Indus Waters Treaty disputes, specifically zeroing in on the Chenab Basin. Let's see how this internal pressure creates external friction. Lock these numbers in for your rapid revision. India is fast-tracking some major hydropower projects in Jammu and Kashmir to secure its energy grid. We are talking about Pakal at a massive 1,000 megawatts. That's the first storage project on the Western Rivers slated for 2026. Then there's Kiru at 624 megawatts, also targeting 2026. Kwar is right behind it with 540 megawatts, around 27 or 28, plus Parnai at 37.5 megawatts. Driven by intense power demand, India is pushing these through decisively following the abeyance of the treaty.
And obviously, this sparks a major diplomatic clash. Pakistan escalated this by firing off an 81-page objection specifically targeting projects like Kiru. They're claiming India's 20.22 million cubic meter storage plan is way exaggerated, arguing it should be slashed down to just 3.36 million, while demanding environmental flow data at the Permanent Court of Arbitration, or PCA. India's response: they've completely boycotted the PCA and neutral expert proceedings, basically saying you don't have jurisdiction here, and are pressing ahead to prioritize their own energy security.
All right, Section 3. With internal chaos and bilateral friction with India, Pakistan is desperate for leverage. Let's look at their external survival strategies, starting with mediating between the US and Iran. Now, don't mistake this mediation for altruism. It's a calculated geo-economic loop. Step 1, Pakistan facilitates dialogue between the US and Iran. Step 2, that instantly boosts their global image, shifting them from an isolated state to a key player. Step 3 is the economic payoff. They use that new diplomatic clout to secure desperate financial bailouts from the IMF and Gulf donors. And Step 4, the military back home gets a major PR win, consolidating their domestic power. It is textbook geopolitical leverage.
It all comes down to pure survival. Pakistan's economy literally runs on imported oil. They desperately need stability in West Asia to keep global energy prices predictable. Plus, they share a western border with Iran. Any spillover there is terrible news for Islamabad. By stepping in, Army Chief Asim Munir and the leadership secure vital energy lines, prevent border chaos, and look like global statesmen doing it.
Which brings us to Section 4, the Saudi Arabia military deployment. This perfectly highlights the sheer scale of Pakistan's strategic overextension. Over 10,000 troops. Seriously, let that massive number sink in. 10,000 plus air assets. Pakistan has always sent advisory support, sure, but deploying this many troops during intense regional tension in the Gulf? That is a deeply significant move. So why do it? Let's weigh the utility against the geopolitical risk.
Why send 10,000 troops away when your own backyard is collapsing? Well, the utility is entirely economic. Pakistan desperately needs Saudi financial aid, remittances, and consistent oil. The deployment is fundamentally defensive, protecting Saudi oil infrastructure. But the risks are just off the charts. It exposes a total lack of strategic autonomy. Saudi pressure essentially forced Pakistan's hand, and by acting as Saudi Arabia's security provider, they risk totally alienating Iran, which could have immediate security repercussions right on their shared border.
Now, how does India view all this? From New Delhi's perspective, this deployment is geographically distant, so it's a limited direct military threat. But make no mistake, India is monitoring this defense axis very closely. Why? Because it proves a stark reality. Pakistan will prioritize continuous foreign military deployments just to keep its economy on life support, even as its domestic apparatus crumbles. It's a major intra-Islamic alignment that shapes the broader region.
Okay, Section 5, Exam Answer Framework and Rapid Revision. We've covered a ton of strategic ground. Let's synthesize all this into an analytical structure you can actually write out under pressure.
If you get a question on this, lock down this structure. Introduction. Define the 2026 multi-front crisis straight away. Mention the TTP resurgence and the BLA's economic targeting of CPEC. Body paragraph 1. Go straight to bilateral friction. Bring up the Indus Waters Treaty, India's fast-tracked Chenab projects like Pakaldul and Kiru, and Pakistan's procedural escalation at the PCA. Body paragraph 2. Pivot to external survival maneuvers. Detail that U.S.-Iran geo-economic mediation loop and the stark asymmetry of the 10,000 troops Saudi deployment. Conclusion. Tie it all in a bow. Summarize that Pakistan is caught in a dangerous loop, relying on highly risky external overextension purely to subsidize its profound internal instability.
I'm going to leave you with this final active recall prompt. Test yourself right now. Analyze the exact impact of Pakistan's internal fragility on its external strategic engagements in 2026. Can you trace the line from inflation and TTP violence directly to an 81-page PCA objection and 10,000 troops deployed to the Gulf? If you can connect those dots, you have completely mastered this explainer. Thanks for tuning in. Keep reviewing these frameworks, and I'll catch you in the next one.